So we're gonna be checking out this video that IGN released of the Unreal Engine 5.5 Megalights tech demo. For a lot of you that don't know, the Unreal Engine 5.5 preview just released. This is something they do when they release a new version of Unreal Engine. They give like a little preview window of for I think it's normally about a month or so that they have a preview up, and then they release the full version of it. So that is up, and yeah, we're gonna check out this IGN tech demo. So let's just hop into it. Alright, so yeah, it's this video, Unreal Engine 5.5 Megalights. The description says, a new experimental UE5 tool that hones lighting scenarios. Oh, they have a spelling error there. Supported by Kitbash 3D that better renders highlights and shadows. Shown off in a walkthrough of Lumen in the land of Nanite. So, a lot of you may also not know, I have about 5 years of experience in Unreal Engine. I kind of mess with it on and off here and there. Right now, I'm on a break from Unreal Engine, but I do know quite a bit about Unreal Engine. So, let's just go ahead and hop into this.
Thank you, Simon. Hey, Victor.
Hey, everyone.
Let's jump right into it. When we look at where to take Unreal Engine in the future, we start with the user, asking ourselves how the tools and the tech get out of their way as they bring their ideas to life. One challenging limitation for our creators has been the cost of shadow casting lights.
Absolutely. Alright, so for those of you that aren't game devs or haven't messed with any of this kind of thing, so shadows are one of the most expensive things for performance in video games, especially with you know, things like something you may not notice in a lot of video games is like things like grass will not cast shadows. They do this to save performance. Also, if video games, you know, before Nanite was a thing in Unreal Engine, video games would have something that was called an LOD. And basically, different meshes within a scene would have an LOD. And the further it would get away, at certain points in the LOD, a lot of games would turn off the shadow. So like, you know, a level of detail that's really close, you'll get full detail, it'll have a shadow casted, and the further you get away from it, it'll turn off the shadow, and that's to save performance. But yes, shadows, extremely expensive on performance.
To that end, we've developed new technology that enables artists to use orders of magnitude more and higher quality light sources than ever before. Let's take an early look at this new feature we're calling Megalights. And who better to guide us through this experience than our intrepid explorer from Lumen in the land of Nanite, Echo. Let's see what's up ahead, Victor.
Take a peek.
Always something
Very
new
pretty.
to discover.
Before we get into the details of Megalights, I first wanted to talk about this environment. Built using a suite of brand new assets from the Quixel Megascans library.
Hey, Megascans.
We've also partnered with Kitbash 3D. They're an awesome resource for 3D models and materials. You can soon find many of these assets on our new Fab Asset Marketplace if you want to use them in your own projects.
Yeah, so what he just mentioned there is the Fab Marketplace. That is the new marketplace that Unreal Engine is switching over to. Before they just had, you know, their standard Unreal Engine marketplace. They're switching over to the Fab Marketplace, which I think is supposed to integrate things like Sketchfab and, you know, a bunch of other stuff. I haven't really looked into it too much because, like I said, I'm on a dev break at the moment. But yeah, the whole entire Unreal Engine marketplace ecosystem is kind of changing at the moment.
Moving on, let's talk Megalights. Unreal Engine is at its best when users can express themselves without technical constraint. Like Nanite did for triangles or Lumen for global illumination.
Alright, I'm gonna have to argue against I have a lot of thoughts on Lumen. On one hand, Lumen is really nice. Like, Lumen definitely looks better than what, is generally used, which would be screen space reflection. The downfall with Lumen is that it's really expensive. It is definitely more expensive than screen space reflections, but it does look better. The other side of that is that he mentioned is things like Nanite. We have things like Nanite that saves performance in some areas, but in my experience, with using Nanite and Lumen, the performance gain you get from Nanite is basically, like, taken away by Lumen. So, I mean, Lumen, I have a love-hate relationship with it. Like I said, like, when I do dev, I do use Lumen, but I think they have some work to do with making it more performant, which it sounds like that might be part of what they're doing here. So let's just keep going.
Megalights removes limitation in a whole new category: direct lighting and shadows. Take, for example, these textured area lights, considered the gold standard of offline rendering. Here they are, in real time, spilling vibrant color into the scene, casting soft shadows, and illuminating the environment in a way artists simply couldn't have done before.
Does look nice. Yeah, you can see a lot of those colors.
And
on
a
the
whole
walls.
new tool in the creator's toolkit is huge, but that's not the only way Megalights makes things better. Let's see what's next.
Hey there, little guy. Who are you?
So it looks like Echo has found herself in quite an interesting marketplace here. It's just about to open for the day.
The Unreal Engine marketplace?
Let's turn on some of these shop fronts and see what's for sale. There's something missing, though. The scene, it's flat, it's undefined. Let's turn on shadows, but not just for a few important lights, for every single light in the entire view.
Okay. There goes 30 FPS. Gone. It does look nice. It does look nice. But another drawback I have with these tech demos is that, like, I mean, this is Unreal Engine showing this stuff off. They have the most beastly computers you can possibly think of. Me, if I were to try to open a scene like this on my PC is a pretty low-end PC. I have a GTX 1660 Super, with a Ryzen 5, and it's generally it's not good. I have a 32 gigs of RAM. My PC is basically a potato, and in these times. I'm in the process of saving for a better one right now. But if I were to try to run a scene like this on my PC, I'd probably be getting, like, less than 10 FPS, probably. Like, and they probably use all 4K textures. When I build scenes in Unreal Engine, I generally don't go above 2K, and a lot of stuff I go well below 2K textures. So, yeah.
From these main shop fronts to the screens, the displays, the flickering oil lamps, string lights, candles, signs, we're free to use whatever lights we need to tell our story and bring this beautiful environment to life. Now, the density of light sources you see here, it's extremely high.
Yeah, that is a lot of lights.
This is what you get when
Also, lights are very expensive. So we mentioned earlier about how shadows are expensive. Just putting in point lights, spotlights, rec lights, the more of those that you have within a scene is also very, very expensive. Also, one of the more expensive things you can have. So like lighting, shadows, NPCs, characters and stuff in the scene. Anything with like a skeleton is really expensive. Yeah, lights, another very, very expensive thing.
Artists are working playfully, without limitation.
Oof, that compression's pretty rough there.
Okay, let's go back to the scene. Victor, let's go further. Let's activate all these animated drones and robots. over 1,000 individual shadow casting light sources in this view alone.
Dynamic lighting as well. Dynamic lighting is more expensive than static lighting. So all of these moving objects are casting shadows.
All of these lights, they're movable, dynamic, scattering through the volumetric fog, and Megalights handles this impressive scene without missing a beat.
But what's the PC you're using is my question. What is your specs?
As we continue on, it's
is he on a
worth mentioning
PlayStation?
that
He's using a
removing these
controller, but is he
limitations
actually
around
using
light count
a
and
PlayStation?
shadows? It doesn't just apply to point and spotlights, but to area lights as well. Megalights enables artists to use area lights as freely as they would any other light source. Now, whether you're using textured area lights, light functions, crisp shadows, or lovely soft shadows, you can have huge numbers of lights of any type in whatever configuration works best for your scene.
Now that would be amazing. Having a way less limitation on how many lights you can put into a scene.
As we send Echo off on her next adventure,
That's a
we should mention
huge
performance.
step.
What you've seen here is running live on a PlayStation 5.
Oh, it is using a PlayStation 5.
Megalights
That's
is
insane.
included in UE 5.5. It's an experimental feature in 5.5, and you can also check it out on the expo floor if you want a closer look.
So what they're saying when they say it's an experimental feature, that is also something that Unreal Engine does. They have like a plugin section in the engine you can go into, and you can turn on things like experimental features. I'm guessing this is a new one that they're adding. So something they added in 5.4 was an experimental version of something called motion matching, and it's basically a way to kind of blend animations a little bit more smoothly. But it works best with root motion. So another experimental feature that I'm aware of is a feature called Substrate, which is basically an overhaul of how materials work inside of the engine, and which you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with that, with like frost and glass, and so typically the way the experimental features work is they stay experimental for a while, and then once it's ready, they implement it into the full version of the engine. So when it's in an experimental phase, you have to go into your plugins or wherever they put it, and you have to enable it. The experimental features are not enabled by default. You have to manually go in and turn them on if you want to play with them. So, yeah.
Look at all the pretty pixels.
Very pretty. Does look good.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Simon.
Wow,
definitely-
thanks, guys. That was truly amazing.
I definitely still have some questions about what exactly Megalight is. I'm like, my understanding of it is it's a performance boost to the way lighting works with shadows and the number of light sources you can have into a scene. But like, what level of performance boost are we getting from this? And what exactly are all the features? Is it literally just a performance boost? Or is there more to it? I'm definitely curious. I'm gonna have to look into it some more. But for now, they also released a PAX Dei UE5 5.5 demo and early access announcement. So there's supposedly some new things with PAX Dei that they're doing with 5.5. So I wanted to check this out as well.
Thanks, Dana, for having us. I'm Thor Gunnarsson, co-founder and CEO at Mainframe Industries.
And I'm Sol Kahro, co-founder and chief product officer. It's super exciting to be here.
So we're a European-based independent developer, a small team passionately crafting a one-of-a-kind MMO. It's a project some of us have been dreaming of for more than 20 years. We call
PAX
it
Dei?
PAX Dei.
Our game is what we call a social...
See, the sad thing about this is PAX Dei didn't do that great from what I remember. Let me pull it up. I know it's in early access, but it had a lot of negativity around it when it released. And I was actually thinking about playing this game. I was pretty hyped to play it, and then I saw a bunch of bad things about it that caused me to not do it. Yeah, it's mixed reviews. Let me just check out some of the... Let me check out one of the negative ones. 505 current total players. Yeah, current player count's low. Unless you want to roleplay the game is dead as hell. Yeah, people are saying it's dead. Watch some gameplay of people crafting, for example, ingots before you buy. The crafting takes forever. I have heard this as well. Like if you wanted to build a massive castle, it would take a stupid amount of time. Yeah, we'll just hop back into this.
Sandbox MMO. Taking inspiration from medieval Europe, Pax Dei
I
is
would
a vast
still like to
open
try it
world
at some
shared
point.
between thousands of players. Here, you choose the role you want to play, explore the land, build your home, and forge your reputation.
First and foremost, Pax Dei is a place. As we set about creating an MMO for the modern age, we knew the first thing we had to get right was the world. We spent a lot of time establishing the right atmosphere. We want the world of Pax Dei to feel grounded and familiar, while at the same time looking cinematic, more vibrant, and larger than life.
Unreal Engine empowers our relatively small team to punch way above our weight class in terms of project scope and quality. Lumen allows us to achieve unparalleled realism in our environments, while Nanite ensures that even the most intricate details are rendered flawlessly without compromising performance.
And we have the ability to render player-made structures in real time, in minute detail.
Yeah,
and at
I mean,
great
the
distances.
environment
Players can
in this
gaze
game
out
does
over
look
miles
amazing.
of terrain, spotting distant landmarks and player-built cities that invite exploration.
One of the most powerful extensions we've made to Unreal is the ability to seamlessly transition player state between Unreal servers. By stitching together a fleet of Unreal servers, we created a game world over 150 square miles in size that can support over 8,000 players in a single game instance.
Okay, so different areas
As
have
players
different
travel,
servers.
servers
Interesting.
are automatically spun up, ensuring a smooth gameplay experience.
Pax Dei is a true sandbox. The world's a stage, a blank canvas for players to make their own. Everything players use in the game has to be crafted, starting with your home. We've been amazed at the level of creativity our players have shown using the modular building system in the game. And when
something that kind of bugs me with Unreal Engine is that they don't have a built-in system for landscape deformation. Like you can't do landscape deformation in real time, so like when you're playing a game. And as far as I'm aware, this game does not have that. And I feel like if you're making a game that has, you know, that is built around like building systems and, you know, building bases and stuff like that, I feel like for me personally, land deformation is extremely important, because in my experience with playing games like this that have building systems and they don't have land deformation, I mean, you start building a base and, you know, as you expand it and, you know, make things further, you find, oh, there's this hill in the way of something I want to put here, and you can't do anything about it, you know. And that's something I would like to see Unreal Engine potentially add. They have systems like they have Voxel Plugin Pro that you can pay for in the Unreal Engine marketplace, but it's extremely expensive, and I feel like this is something that Unreal Engine themselves should work on and add to the engine. Just my opinion.
Clans join forces, whole player-created civilizations start to emerge.
Our vision for Pax Dei required us to address heads-on the classic challenge any MMO faces: how to handle high player density. To tackle this, we created tech that dynamically distributes players across layers. This allows the server capacity to temporarily scale in the same location whenever that zone requires higher concurrency. Player and world state is persisted across all the layers, with each layer corresponding to a single Unreal server. By layering, clans can work together to build huge structures such as cities while still sharing the same persisted world. An old persisted state, such as buildings, inventories, and market stalls, is intelligently shared and replicated using a robust backend that ensures transactionality and data integrity.
And it's not only buildings. Every weapon, dress, or piece of armor in Pax Dei is player-created. We work hard on giving each item a level of detail that will make players proud of having crafted it. And soon we're going to be adding a lot of depth to this aspect of our game.
We're currently upgrading our wear and tear system to dynamically adjust the appearances of individual pieces of equipment, reflecting how much damage is received, so you know if it's time for repair. We also built each item from the ground up to be modular, making it easy to adjust the fabric and color, add patterns or symbols, or change the trim.
Hell
With
yeah.
these options, players will soon be able to express as much creativity in customizing their appearance as they already enjoy in the building side of the game.
Nice.
Our game requires the community to come alive. To all the players that
Does
have
look
joined
good.
us in early
I'll
access
try this
so
game at
far,
some point.
thank you. We've been humbled by your feedback, support, and passion, and we couldn't do it without you. If you want to support a team making something fresh in the MMO space, please join our early access now and help us build the virtual world that we can all inhabit for years to come. Thank you very much.
Let's, what are their player numbers right now? If I go to community tab here, 468, that's not great. It's pretty low. Man, I'd try it, but I'm just in the process of trying to save money, but I do want to try it eventually. It is in early access and it has really low player numbers, so that doesn't really give me a lot of hope that this is going to make it to 1.0, which also decentivizes me to even pay for this and try it. But those are some cool little upgrades they mentioned there, you know, more customization and stuff like that. Yeah, we're gonna call it here. I appreciate you watching the video. If any of you guys are devs out there, let me know your thoughts on the 5.5, or if you're not a dev, let me know about what you think about the new 5.5 updates we just checked out. I'm definitely gonna have to dive in and actually experiment with some of the lighting things that I saw, because some of that is interesting. There's also supposed to be some new things coming in 5.5, like nanite skeletal meshes, which is a big deal because skeletal meshes are really expensive, like I was mentioning earlier. But yeah, I appreciate you watching the video. If you like the video, hit the like button. It definitely helps me out. If you have any suggestions for things for me to check out, react to, watch, games to check out, anything like that, let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.